Hi, in the last session, we talked about for loops in VHDL. We learned how to use them and where to use them. We have also seen how it generates the hardware on the FPGA devices. Now let's talk about wait statements in VHDL. VHDL wait statement is sequential statement and hence it also need to be used within the process block. Before we start, I wanted to make this clear that the wait statement is not synthesizable. This means that we can only use wait statement in simulation of our models or test benches, but they cannot run on the FPGA devices. Also, you should know that the processes that have a wait statement inside it, they must have empty sensitivity list. This means that there should be no signals written in the sensitivity list of that process block. So quick notes, wait statements are used only in simulations. Wait statements allows us to pause the simulation in two different ways. First, we can pause the simulation for a fixed time period or duration. Second, we can pause the simulation until some event has encountered in our simulation. In the next few slides, we will look at different forms of wait statements. So first, let's look at the most basic form of a wait statement. Here is a very simple process with an empty sensitivity list. Remember that the sensitivity list of a process block must be empty if you are using a wait statement. So in the first example, I have written test colon process begin y gets the value of x, wait z gets the value of y and process. So when this process runs, it executes the first statement, which assigns x value to y. Then simulator hits this wait statement and the process stops here and it will not go further from this point. So our wait statement was the processes and any statement after it will never execute. So this whole process will not run again. Or you can say that the process stops here permanently and it will not go further from this statement here. Now let's look at the second example where we have used wait for statement. This allows us to implement some fixed delay. So I have written test colon process begin y gets the value of x. Wait for 100 nanosecond. Z gets the value of y and process. So here I have the same process as before. We run the first statement which assigns x value to y. Then it gets the wait for statement and the process stops here, but only for 100 nanoseconds. After 100 nanoseconds, the process resumes and executes the last statement, which assigns the value of signal y to signal z. Now at the end of this process, the process stops here, but the whole process block will trigger immediately, just after it gets finished. This means that as soon as we execute the last statement where z gets the value of y, the process will start again. And the first statement, which is y gets the value of x, will execute. Then it will wait for 100 nanosecond and then it will execute the last statement again, which is z gets the value of y. And this process goes round and round like this at infinite time until you manually stop the simulation or close the simulation. Now we will see that how we can generate a clock signal using wait for statement. So this is a simple code for our 50 megahertz clock signal. So I have written clock generator colon process begin clock is 0, wait for 10 nanosecond, then clock is 1, wait for 10 nanosecond and process. So this is one way of generating a 50 megahertz clock signal. Let's see how it works. So at the beginning of the process, we assign the value 0 to the clock signal. Then we wait for the 10 nanoseconds and then we assign 1 to the clock signal and then wait again for another 10 nanoseconds. Since the process keeps repeating over and over, the result is that we get a nice 50 megahertz clock signal. Now let's look at the wait on statement. The wait on statement allows us to pause the simulation until some event happened. Here is a simple code for this. So I have written test colon process begin, y gets the value of x, wait on a, z gets the value of y, and process. So let's see how it works. So in this example, the process will execute the first statement, which assigns x value to y. Then it encounters the wait on statement. The wait on statement will pause the process and it will wait here until signal A changes its state. So the process will only continue when signal A changes its state. This means that if A was a logical 0, for example, then it needs to change to a logical 1 for the process to continue. When A changes its state, then the process will continue to execute the subsequent statements, and the rest of the functioning will work as explained earlier. Now let's talk about the wait until statement. The wait until statement gives us more control as compared to the wait on statement. The wait until statement allows us to pause the simulation until a signal changes to a specific state, which is mentioned by the user. Let's see how it works. So look at the second code on the screen. This is for the wait until statement. So I have written test process begin, y gets the value of x, wait until a equals to 0, z gets the value of y, and process. So within the first statement, x value is assigned to y. Then comes the wait until statement. The wait until statement will pause the process, and the process will only continue when signal A becomes 0. Otherwise, the process will not continue from here. Here is another application of wait until statement. Here I am going to use the wait until statement to wait until there is a rising edge of a clock signal. So before continuing, we use the rising edge function to detect if there is a rising edge on signal A. If a rising edge is detected, then the process will continue to execute next line, which is z being assigned the value of y. So we have written our code like this. Test colon process begin, y gets a value of x, wait until rising edge of clock, z gets the value of y, and process. Okay, so that's it for today. Here is a quick recall what we have learned in last few sessions on VHDL sequential statements. So sequential statements are a fundamental aspect of VHDL programming, and it is essential to understand their proper uses and implementations. We have covered several key points. Firstly, remember that the sequential statements can only be used inside a process block. This restriction ensures that those sequential statements to execute in a specific order, which is essential for designing and simulating digital circuits accurately. The most commonly used sequential statements in VHDL is if-else statement, case statement, for loop statement, and wait statement. Each of these statements serves a unique purposes, and they are used to control the flow of execution within the process. We have learned the syntax for each of these statements. If-else statements are used for the conditional execution. This allows different paths based on the specific conditions. The case statement provides a more structured way to handle the multiple conditions, and this makes the code easier to read and maintain. The for loop statement is used for repetitive execution, and it's repeat the code over a range of values in the repetitive cycle. The wait statement is used to pause the execution of a process until a specific condition is met. So we discussed their appropriate uses and limitations. For example, if-else statement is straightforward for simple conditions, but it can become complex and hard to manage with multiple nested conditions. Whereas case statement is preferred over the if statement for handling multiple choices because it is more organized and efficient in hardware implementations. We briefly covered the propagation delay in the logical circuits, which is the time that needs for a signal to travel through a circuit. We explained that why understanding of propagation delay is crucial for designing the high-speed circuits. We discussed why case statements are often preferred over the if-else statements, as case statements can help reduce the complexity and the potential delays in the logical circuits. And we have seen how it helps to do that. Additionally, we explored that how each statement translates to the FPGA hardware. This is important for gaining the deeper insights into the VHDL coding. For example, knowing how a for loop is synthesized into hardware can help you in optimizing the design for better performance and resource utilization. And with this, we have reached to the end of this discussion on sequential statements in VHDL. So, by understanding these key aspects on sequential statements, you can write more efficient and effective VHDL codes, ultimately leading to a better digital circuit designs. In the next session, we will be talking about signal assignments in deep, which is important to understand for good VHDL designing. So stay tuned for the updates. If you did not subscribe till now, then please do subscribe to learn and grow community for regular updates. If this video is informative, then please like this video, comment on video, and don't forget to share. Thank you for watching.